Hello and welcome to Rooted in Yad, where I talk about what it's really like living in Jamaica so that you can know what to expect and how to thrive if you are planning to make the move here. And today we are getting into the next part of the Dating in Jamaica series, which is about how to have a successful relationship while long distance. Because if you are a foreigner dating a Jamaican, or you're a Jamaican dating someone from foreign, at some point you guys are going to be long distance. At some point it is what it is. And I want to talk about this because I know how difficult it is being so far from the person that you love. I know firsthand how much it sucks. And I want to talk about ways to help things make things successful even when you are physically apart. And I do also want to preface this by saying my dating experience was over 10 years ago, okay? But I do think that these things would be helpful. These are the things that I did. I do think that these things would be helpful. Or like if I didn't do these things directly, these are the things I would do now, okay? So I just want to talk about that. So I guess I will get into it. So there are a few important things that I've learned when it comes to making a long distance relationship work. The first thing I want to talk about is communication, okay? Communication is going to be a huge aspect of your long distance relationship. And in particular, understanding you and your partner's communication styles is going to be the most important aspect. Like for me and my husband, we did a lot of talking while long distance, y'all. Like, I mean, like he called me before he went to work. Y'all, I talked about Jamaican men being pursuant. He called me before he went to work, and this is video calls, okay? He called me before he went to work, then at work on his breaks, and then like we would message through the day in between, and then he would call me after he got home from work, and we would keep chatting until we went to bed. And if he couldn't get a hold of me, he'd message my mom to ensure that I was okay. Like the communication was constant, and that's fine. That worked for us. It worked really well for us because like obviously we couldn't physically be there with each other. So the communication, a lot of that communication was very, very helpful for us. And because of that constant communication, we got to know each other really, really well. Now, I will say, okay, that level of communication worked for us. It may not work for you, okay? That maybe for you, you might be like, yeah, that's a little too much. That's a lot, right? So you got to figure out what works for the both of you. I know for some people, like, I mean, one person might want that level of communication, right? And the other might not need that level of communication. And if that is the case between you and your partner, to that I would say, you know, you both either need to find a middle ground, or you need to actually examine whether it is a good idea to be in a relationship. Because let's say if you feel you need that high level of communication that me and Hubby Bear had, but your partner doesn't, then that's not going to work. It's not going to work very well because a lot of the time you're going to feel, you know, very neglected, and they may feel overwhelmed or annoyed by that level of communication. And not only is life too short to be, you know, in an unhappy relationship, but like there are other people out there who you could have a wonderful partnership with who would match your needed level of communication, right? Those people are out there. So just be aware of that, okay? That you really need to understand each other's communication styles, each other's communication preferences, because this is like that, the communication is going to be the biggest aspect of making a long distance relationship work. Okay. Now, the second way that I experienced making a long distance relationship work or successful, or making a long distance relationship be successful, is by doing activities together, right? And it is so much more easier to do that now than back when like Hubby Bear and I were dating. So let me just give you some examples of some of the things that you could do, okay? You can watch shows together, right? Something Hubby Bear and I did was that we would have date nights designated. So these would be designated evenings where we would set up a movie, and then like I would share my screen, or not even just a movie, a show, whatever, and I would share my screen and we would watch the movie together. We did that on Skype because back then you didn't have very many options for video calling. So like I'd go on Skype and share my screen and like we'd watch it together. And I really liked this because then we could eat dinner and like watch something, or we could still like talk throughout the show or movie, or like talk right at the end of the show or at the end of the movie about what we liked and didn't like. It was just like more things to communicate about to each other, and more things to learn about from each other, or learn about more. It was just more things to learn about each other. But I mean, that experience is a lot better now with streaming platforms, right? So you probably don't have to do what I did with the whole sharing screen thing. Like you could probably literally watch shows together and like be on the phone watching shows together, and like be proper video chatting and watching shows together. Like you don't have to try and figure things out like we did. It's much easier now. Another thing you can do, and this I would probably recommend, okay, is playing games together. And this is huge. I think this is huge, right? Honestly, if Hubby Bear and I had this opportunity when we were dating, oh my goodness, I probably would not have felt like such a deep ache in my heart being away from him. I mean, maybe I would have, but like this would have lessened that quite a bit, right? I mean, even if you're not a gamer per se, right? Like there are still games that you could play together. You know, there's still games that you'd probably like that you could play together that you would both find fun, right? And the games can be cheap. Like it doesn't have to be anything expensive. The games can be cheap. Like if you get a Steam account, I'm not sure if you've heard of Steam. Steam allows you to play a lot of online games. They have like a list. They have a list of online games, and you can create an account on there, and then you you pay for the games through the Steam platform, and then you use the Steam platform to access the games. And a lot of them are multiplayer. Like it makes it easy to like add people as friends so you guys can play games together, stuff like that. So if you get like, let's say a Steam account, as I was saying, you download Steam into your computer and then you buy those games off of Steam. You know, you can go into like a multiplayer game, right? Whichever one that you both choose, and then you can literally play the game together. You know, you can build a house together on the computer. You can like fight zombies together, which I love to do. I love like zombie games. You can create a farm together. You can build a spaceship, whatever. You can like go on adventure games. I love those like open world adventure games like Conan Exiles. I don't know what it is about Conan Exiles, but I love that game so much. Or like if you like those zombie fighting games like 7 Days to Die, State of Decay, #2. If you prefer first person shooter games, there's what's it called? It's here. There's a whole variety of first person shooter games. There's why can I not find it? Helldivers. There's Helldivers. I do like that game. There's this game called Atlas where you can go like build a ship. So you can go into the world with somebody and you guys like build a ship, and you travel to different islands by ship and like fight pirates and stuff. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do together, right? And I really like this gaming thing because it gives you both something to do, something fun to do. And then, you can learn about each other in different ways, right? Other than just like asking each other questions and like constantly chatting. And it gives you something to look forward to together, right? This is what I'm saying. Back then, if Steam existed, man, maybe it did and we didn't know. But if we had known, that would have been nice. That would have been very, very nice for our long distance relationship. We would have had a lot of fun. I'll just say that. Now, another thing that you can do, okay, this is something that did not exist, at least not publicly, did not exist, or publicly or affordably did not exist back when we were going out, and that is VR, virtual reality. You can literally go in virtual reality together, which I think is amazing, right? Like if you can get a VR headset and your Jamaican partner can get a VR headset, or likely you probably have to buy it for them. Like for me, when it came to my husband and I actually gave him my old laptop. I had bought a new laptop for school, and I had an old laptop. It still worked. It was fine, but I found I needed something else. So I actually gave him my old laptop. Did I get him a phone too? I don't remember. This was after we were going out. This wasn't like right away. This was after we were exclusive and stuff. and I was like, hey, we need more things to do together. We were trying to play games online. We really were, but back then it just wasn't. It just wasn't. But back to the VR thing, okay? If you can both get a VR headset, like the MetaQuest, okay? The MetaQuest 2, you can go with the MetaQuest 3 or whatever, but MetaQuest 2 will probably be fine. If you both can get VR headsets, there are so many multiplayer games that you could play. You know, you can both play together, or you can play competitively against each other if that's your thing, right? Or you don't even have to play anything. You could just be together in VR in the same room. Do you know how amazing that is? Like, you are far apart from the person you love physically, but then you can put on a headset and like be in the same, feel like you're in the same room with them. That's amazing. That technology is amazing. I think that is amazing. And because VR like involves your senses so vividly, like your visual and auditory senses, because it involves your senses so vividly, it's just like much easier to have that feeling of closeness, right? And I know if this was available back when Happy Bear and I were dating, we definitely would have done this. Because I was, you know, I was working. I mean, he probably, I don't know if he would have had enough to buy one, but the way I was working, I would have had enough because I made enough to travel to and from Jamaica like every 3 months or so. I paid off my school and then I was able to do that. I was working at the Chrysler factory plant, and back then they were paying pretty good for students. So like we definitely would have done this. I would have gotten him a VR headset. Sorry, my back's itchy. I would have gotten him a VR headset and like we would have done that because the feeling of closeness, it just would have been so nice. It would have been so, it would have definitely, if anything else, if it did nothing else, it would have up-leveled our gaming together. And that alone would have been worth it. And it would have made us feel not so far apart. Okay, and something else you can do in terms of an activity, it's a smaller thing, okay? But you can, there are devices that exist that allow you to kind of feel each other. And I don't mean intimately, although I'm fairly certain that exists as well. So you could do that too if you wanted. I'm not talking about that. I'm just literally talking about like there are items of like rings where like you and the person could feel each other's heartbeat. Like, you know, it's things like that. You can feel each other's heartbeat, or like whenever your partner touches the ring, you feel a vibration on your end to, you know, let you know that they just touched the ring. Like it's things like that that I was seeing back then. I'm sure there's more stuff now, but I was seeing some stuff like that back then. And I think it's really cool. It's a way to kind of feel close even though you're apart. So if that's something you're interested in, you know, you can definitely look into that. But I think all ways to feel close to the one you love is really nice, especially the VR. I don't think I can stop talking about VR, especially the VR. If you are in a long distance relationship with somebody, get yourself a VR headset. If they are from a developing country, they likely won't be able to afford it. So yeah, you're gonna have to get it for them. And yeah, that's a risk. Maybe you're gonna have to weigh out, oh, do you really want to get this for them? Blah, 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 blah. But I think you should. I know I would have done it. I would have done it. Like the way my heart ached, I would have done it. Anyway, as I was saying, there are probably other things you can do, right? Like even let's say Spotify, right? If you both have Spotify, you can like play the same Spotify list at the same time, like when you're both cleaning or something. But yeah, there's like different things you can do. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just to give you an idea of some of the things you can do. And some of these things you can do which will also help add some layers of fun to your relationship. And make things not feel so hard even though you both are physically apart for a time. Now, the last thing I do want to mention that I think is really, really important to your long distance relationship is having a together date, okay? And I don't mean like a date for you to visit and then you go back long distance. What I'm talking about is that you both, okay, when you are exclusive, when you are, you know, saying, hey, I want to be with you, but I want to be with you, you want to be with me, and we want to be exclusive even though we're apart. Okay. What the together date I'm talking about is you both need to make a very clear decision on when the long distance is going to end. Okay, like literally pick a date. Talk about it, pick a date. Because you can't be long distance forever. I mean, maybe you can if that's your jam, right? Do whatever you want. Life is short. You deserve to be happy. Do whatever you want, right? But as I said, for me, like it literally physically hurt being away from my husband. Like it hurt. It did. It hurt. So now along with this, okay, along with choosing a together date, then you got to think about like who will be doing the moving, right? Now let's say if you are from foreign and you are dating a Jamaican, right? Because this is all about Jamaica. I mean, you can apply this to other Caribbean countries, other developing countries as well, everything that I'm saying. But if you are from foreign and you are dating a Jamaican, it's likely, okay, that you are probably going to be the one who's going to have to move, or at least move first, because it is likely going to be easier for you to come here than for them to get a visa and come to you, okay? I think I mentioned this before, but for me, I actually moved here after we got married in 2015. And I was here for 2 years until I could convince my husband to let me apply for his Canadian residency. I will mention I did try and get him a visitor's visa because he really didn't want to live in Canada. You know, that's why I said the visitor's visa. He didn't want to live in Canada, but I still wanted to like give him that experience. But you know, immigration rejected it every time. I'm kind of convinced that it's a cash grab, like they intentionally, because the thing is, I don't know if you know, but when immigration in places like Jamaica and in these developing countries, when immigration rejects a visa, they do not give back the money. First of all, they barely give you a clear reason as to why they rejected the visa. And when they do, it's something very broad, like you did not prove you have adequate ties to your home country, or some foolishness. They don't give you something very clear to say it was this aspect of your application where, you know, I didn't feel confident, or, you know, what will you do about this? Or like, can you assure me that you'll come back to Jamaica or whatever. So there's that. They usually don't give you a clear reason as to why they rejected your application. They just give you a broad category. But then, as I said, they do not give you a refund. I honestly think that if these countries were, like Canada, were obligated to give refunds to the visas that they rejected, I think things would probably be different. Because I'm like, why is it that you can accept any and everybody from countries like India, but when it comes to Jamaica, there's a problem? Anyway, so yeah, you will likely have to move here. Because of your passport. Like if you're coming from a place like Canada, the UK, the US, because of your passport privileges, it will make it easier for you to come here than for them to come to you. Now, I mean, when I say for you to come here, you don't necessarily have to, when you choose your together date, you don't necessarily have to move to your partner's country. You don't necessarily have to move to Jamaica and move in with them. Okay, if you're not comfortable with that yet, right? You can come here and get your own place. But the point is, you both need to really think about when that long distance is going to end, right? And it'll also, like, once you choose that together date, it'll also give you something to look forward to, right? Like, and it'll help you bear that internal hurt or ache from being apart from the one that you love, because you know that the long distance is going to come to an end. To me, that's something that really, really helped when I knew that our wedding was getting closer and closer. It really helped for me to know, okay, like, it's only this much time left, so this is what I need to do. This is what I need to think about. It's only this much time left. Oh, look, even more time passed. Like, it was a lot more bearable. It was a lot more bearable. And yeah, as I mentioned, as I said, you need to figure out, when you come here, like, where exactly you'll be going. And I do want to note, okay, I do want to note that I want you to really think about, this is why I said you don't necessarily have to move into your partner's place, because what I don't want is, I don't want you to end up putting yourself in an unsafe situation, okay? I do not want you to end up putting yourself in a situation, this is regardless regardless of where you're moving to, whether you're moving to Jamaica, whether you're moving to, I don't know, Japan, whether you're moving to Canada, whether you're moving to UK, whatever, okay? I don't want you to end up in an unsafe situation where, you know, you move to your partner's place and then you end up being abused. So this is why I'm like, you know, keep this in mind. Like I have heard horror stories, okay, of, for example, women moving to Jamaica to be with their male partner, but then, like, I guess they didn't really visit where their partner lives. Maybe their partner always came to them. They didn't really visit where their partner lives, or maybe they did, but not very much. But the whole point is they end up out in some bush somewhere with no access to internet, no phone service, no access to their money, certainly. And like, they have no idea where they are because they're in the middle of nowhere. They have no idea where they are. The man they're living with has complete control over them. You know, and then they have to try and figure out how to leave. Please don't do that to yourself. Please do not do that to yourself, okay? Always ensure that you have your VEX money. VEX money is, Jamaicans call it VEX money. VEX money is cash that you have secretly stored away somewhere so that if someone upsets you, or if you're feeling unsafe or what have you, if you need to get out of a situation, you can, okay? Always carry your VEX money with you. Carry it secretly with you somewhere where the person is not, whoever, the people who are around are not going to know. Okay? And if you're going to live together, okay, ensure to visit first. Okay? Visit first. Look at your surroundings. Ensure, you know, the people who care about you know, where you're going, where you are, when you'll be back, things like that. In fact, when you visit, okay, when you visit and you go to visit your partner's place, don't actually visit to stay there, okay? Especially if it's like the first time or the first little bit. Like, get a hotel, get an Airbnb, then maybe you visit, and then you go back to your hotel or your Airbnb. In fact, like, maybe visit with someone else. Maybe don't go alone. Maybe don't come to Jamaica alone when you're going to do that, especially for the first time or first little bit, right? Don't go alone. Take someone with you if possible. You know, like a family member or a friend or something. And then, you know, when you feel like you trust the person and, you know, you feel like you like the area or whatever that you're going to be moving to and you feel good, then you can move in, okay? But as I said, like, it's not like you even need to move in with the person at first in the first place. You know, sometimes just being in the same city so that you can see each other every day will be immensely more helpful than being long distance. And you know, then when you do that, you can still get your privacy and alone time while also having in-person time with your partner, okay? So that was kind of long-winded, but that is it for today, okay? So to quickly summarize, to have a successful long-distance relationship, I was gonna say long-term, I meant long-distance. To have a successful long-distance relationship, you need a similar communication style, or at least enough understanding to meet each other's communication styles or communication preferences. You need activities to keep things fun and lively, and most importantly, to help you both feel more connected even though you're physically apart. And it's important to have a together date, okay? An actual calendar date where you both agree you will no longer be long distance. Okay, so that is it from me today. I hope that you found this helpful or informative or at least entertaining. If you did, do hit that like button to let me know. But I do want to hear from you, okay? I do want to hear from you. If you are in a long distance relationship right now, or you were in one successfully in the past, what tips do you have for people entering into long distance relationships? Did I miss anything? Are there things that I don't know about now that people can do or whatever? You know, leave your tips in the comments and let the people them know, because, you know, we want them to be successful. We don't just want to be successful. We want them to be successful in their relationships as well. And if you are planning to move here, don't forget to leave without getting your freebies. I created these to help you get a head start on things like what to bring, what to prep, and what to expect in your moving to Jamaica. The link for those is in the description and in the comments. And if you want even more support, other than like my freebies and my videos, if you want even more support, like you're planning to move here and you want even more support, I've created 2 resources to help your to help your transition to Jamaica go smoother. One is the Moving to Jamaica Starter Guide. So this is available at the time of me creating this video. This is available now for pre-order for $10. Maybe it'll be done by the time this video is up. I don't know, you can check, but the pre-order is $10. When the guide is completed, the price is going to go up. So if you want to get that early bird price, get it early, you can go to the link in the description and in the comments. When you go to the link, as a heads up, you will be able to see the table of contents of like what you can expect in the guide. I'm hoping that I can add just a little more. Yeah, but maybe the guide will be finished by then, by this video releases. If it's not, I'm still making it pretty because I have most of the content done. But you know, I gotta polish it, make it pretty, stuff like that. And then the second thing is the Rooted in Yard membership. Okay, I think this will be really helpful. This is a supportive space with live video chat, so you can come on video live with me. You can ask questions, or we can just like chill and vibe and build community. There will be weekly reflection prompts, a private community that you will have access to, and you will also get early access to all of my videos before anybody else. So if you don't want to wait, feel free to join the membership. So if you find this, if you think these things would be helpful, the links will be again in the description and in the comments. And that completely is it. If you do like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because the next video, especially if you're a Jamaican, okay, the next video is going to be about tips for Jamaicans who want to date people from foreign. I'm going to be going into that because I feel like there are some things that Jamaicans need to know, need to understand in order to help them have successful relationships with people from foreign. I've talked a lot about people from foreign having successful relationships with Jamaicans, but I also want to talk about the reverse, okay? So if that's something you're interested in and you don't want to miss when that video comes out, do subscribe if you haven't already. But in the meantime, that is it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.